Hello, this is OverlordBou, and today I'm going to be covering a very unique Tier 10, highly anticipated destroyer, the USS Hull. So the USS Hull is going to be available for 60,000 research bureau points. So you can finally get a ship without having to empty out your bank accounts to be able to get a ship. And today I'm going to be talking about if the ship is going to be worth it or not, and about its overall stats and such. So let's go over a little bit about the history of this ship. So historically, the USS Hull was a Forrest Sherman class destroyer that saw service during the Vietnam War. Now, in 1974, during a major overhaul, her 5-inch guns were replaced with an experimental 8-inch gun as part of the Major Caliber Lightweight Gun program. Now, this program came about due to the realization that the decommissioning of older cruisers and battleships would leave the United States without heavy artillery support. So the 5-inch guns would be the biggest guns that would be used for naval bombardment and other direct actions. So the testing of the 8-inch guns was conducted between 1975 to 1978. Unfortunately, though, the testing concluded that the 8-inch guns would be no more effective than the improved 5-inch guns. Thus, the concept was discontinued, and the Hull would return to her 5-inch configuration for the rest of her career. Now, while the 8-inch guns program was unsuccessful, the Hull in WoWs represents an alternative version where the Hull reef was retrofitted with 3 8-inch guns. Now, if you guys have any comments about the historical significance of the Hull, definitely let me know down in the comments. That'd be really interesting for us to be able to see. So, to start off, let's talk a little bit about the ship's stats. So, for the Hull, it's the same hull as the Forrest Sherman, respectively HP pull of 24,900. When you build into it, it goes to about 29,850. It has a 19mm side armor with a 13mm superstructure, which is typical for destroyer armor. You do get access to an improved repair party, which heals 20% of the HP, which is really nice for the Hull. So this Hull has the same hull as her sister ship, the Sherman, but access to the improved repair party, which really improves the ship's durability. Still, though, this doesn't mean you can just go out and tank hits, because if you do, yeah, you're just gonna die. So your primary is using your long gun range and dodging abilities to do really well in this ship. Now, the main armament. What makes this ship so great are the 203mm guns, which have the same guns as the Des Moines, and these guns do pack a wallop. You do get the improved AP pen angles with the AP, and you do get the 32mm HE pen of the Des Moines, and you also get the standard destroyer dispersion with a really fast reload of 3.4 seconds. Of course, when you build into it, it goes to 3 seconds. And when you build into the gun range, it goes to 14.8 kilometers, but the regular range is just 12.3 kilometers. Now, it does have excellent gun angles as well, 28 degrees to the bow/stern, and really good shell ballistics for destroyers, only second to the Elbing, and of course, it's due to the fact that the guns are Des Moines guns. One downside, though, is the fact that those guns are not 360 turrets. You have to turn the turret all the way around to go on one side or the other. So if you're trying to like fight someone bow in, you're gonna have a really rough time trying to wiggle. But if you are kiting away from the target, you can use 2 of their rear turrets to really do a lot of damage onto the enemy that you're focusing. So these rapid fire US cruiser guns on a destroyer is a very scary combination. Not only do you get the improved AP shells, but your HE also pens 32mm by default. So broadside cruisers just explode to your AP, and anyone that angles just burns down instead. Now, the shell ballistics also make it easy to lead the target, especially since you can get close. The only real issue is the lackluster of the HE DPM, which is a problem when fighting destroyers at close range, which you'll find out. But all of that can be forgiven for how powerful her guns are at mid to long range engagements. Just don't sit still next to something like a Marceau, and you'll quickly sink almost any ship you come across. Going from the guns, let's talk about the torpedoes. So the torpedoes are the same exact torpedoes as the Sherman. You get two 533 millimeter torpedoes per side with 4 in total, with 17,900 damage per torpedo with a 16.5 kilometer range. It's extremely narrow torpedo angles and only a 3-degree firing angle on either side, so it's going to be pretty rough to use them. But it is funny though when you do actually hit some of these torpedoes, and you can do a lot of damage when you actually hit your target with these. Moving on, let's talk about the ship's anti-air. The anti-air on this thing is actually quite decent. You get a 116 long-range DPS with a 6.9 kilometer range. You do get 5 flaks, and you do come with a built-in DFAA, which does 100% extra damage instead of the damage 50%. So you do get a special DFA on this ship. So it makes this anti-air quite good compared to other destroyers, bolstering mostly by her amazing 6.9 kilometer range for anti-air. The improved DFA also helps immensely, and any plane unfortunate enough to hit her flak gets annihilated. So that being said, most of the time you'll have your anti-air off, so anti-air is going to be irrelevant, but not to mention good CVs will still crush you anyway, so just use the DFA to screen your allies and only if it's safe to do so. Moving on from the anti-air, let's talk about the ship-based ASW. So the ship does get ASW, thank God. You get 8 5,100 damage depth charges that launch off at the rear per charge. For some reason, it's kind of weird, but you only get half of the Sherman's depth charge load. They still do a lot of damage, but it's not as good as her sister ship. If you want a kind of a comparison of how much these depth charges do, it takes about 11 to 12 depth charges to kill a full health Vallejo. Yeah, it's kind of painful, but yeah, it could be better, but you know. But anyway, let's move on to the maneuverability. So this ship has a top speed of 33.9 knot top speed. If you use a speed flag, goes to about 37 knots. You have a 680 meter turning radius with a 5.3 second rudder shift time. With a speed boost, it goes 15% top speed for 120 seconds. Of course, you build into that. It makes it go to 158 seconds. Now, the base stats aren't really good for the maneuverability. She does have the second slowest base top speed of any tier 10 destroyer, tied with the Sherman. What saves her is that improved speed boost, which gives her a 15% speed boost. So if you have the flag, your top speed goes about 37. Then with this 15%, you get about to like 40 something knots, which is really good and maneuverable for this ship. Now, the speed is nice when you have all that put together, but the acceleration is what you really need to dodge enemy shells. So make sure that when you're engaging, you have that speed boost active, or you're going to be a sitting duck. So one of the final stats we're talking about is going to be the concealment. You do have a 6.5 kilometer best detection when you build all the way into the concealment, but I recommend building into it only once in the modules and not in the skills. So the recommended build that I have is 7.2 kilometers, and the aerial is 3.1 kilometer best air detection, and for my build is 3.5, and you'll see why at the end of the video why I do that. But needless to say, you're an open water gunboat destroyer. If you want to be, it's not the best destroyer hunter. You're meant to be farming at medium to long ranges. So you're going to want to build more into your guns and more into how much your DPM is rather than your concealment and skills. Now, surprisingly, it's actually really good detection range for a gunboat destroyer, but still it's too high to effectively compete against other destroyers. So my build only takes 1 concealment boost just so that other gunboats won't outspot you. Now, since you typically play mid to long range, you don't really need the extra conceal since you're just going to be opening up the whole time anyway. So just stay inside of your gun range and let the ballistics and speed boost work to your advantage. For the consumables, you come with a standard DCP, the improved heal that heals 20% baseline, which is really nice. You do get a improved speed boost and a 120-second duration and a 15% boost. You build it up to 158 seconds, so that's always nice. And you get the improved USDFA, which is really nice on this ship. So the hull is meant to be the open water gunboat instead of the Sherman. Her consumables are set to reflect this with the improved heals, the speed boost, and this also means no smoke for you to hide in. So, but you can definitely dance in open water or use islands when possible, and you'll have a fun time farming with that. So overall, I would say that the hull is a rather unique open water gunboat destroyer. Her main gimmick is the 203mm guns, the same exact ones found on the Des Moines, including the improved pen angles and raw APD pen, which will absolutely devastate cruisers. If you get a cruiser's broadside, load that AP and watch the citadels roll in. It is just gorgeous when you get to do it. If the target refuses to angle, then just burn them down with HE the old-fashioned way and watch them cry as they get burned back to port. Now, you aren't great at doing the standard destroyer things like capping, so just focus on damage farming, mispositioned cruisers and battleships, and of course, focus fire destroyers whenever you do get the chance. Ideally, you want to stay between about 8 to 12 kilometers from the target, but if it's like a cruiser, probably a little further away, because he's gonna try to kill you. Same with battleships. So enough distance to dodge incoming fire, but also close enough to where your AP citadels the majority of ships. Make sure to have your speed boost active whenever you open water gunboat. It does make it much harder for them to be able to hit you. So if you ever played a Delny, the hull should be a fairly easy transition, just with more guns and less torpedoes. So I'll say overall, I think the hull is a fun mini cruiser that will annihilate cruisers if the ambush is done properly. BBs will also take significant damage, but secondary ships will prove very troublesome to you unless you find an island to hide behind and farm them from that. If you see a Liberta, just run away. The hull may not be the most comfortable ship to play, but she still matches well into most other non-secondary focused ships. So with that out of the way, let's talk about what the ship is for. Again, I said earlier, the hull will be available in the Research Bureau for 60,000 Research Bureau points. You'll need to reset 6 normal lines or 3 two-time bonus resets in order to obtain her. Now remember, you need to have researched 5 lines before you can start resetting them. So I recommend resetting the Haragumo since it is the cheapest credit-wise and the cheapest XP-wise to reset. But of course, you can reset your favorite line as fine as long as you plan to grind the line again. Normally what I do is I just keep regrinding the Haragumo line over and over and over and over again. And that's how I personally do my grinding for my Research Bureau points. And I made sure to do that before the hull came out so that I would be able to get it. So I'll be able to get it as soon as this ship comes out. So super excited for that. But yes, I do recommend this ship. A lot of fun. Glad they finally introduced the ship into the armory that you could get for free. So makes me really happy about that. But at this point in the video, let's go over and look at the build of the hull. And let me know what you guys think of this kind of video. If you guys like it, how I did this, or if I didn't, let me know, because I did add in a little touches here and there. So let me know what you guys think overall on this particular video. Let me know down in the comments down below and what you think of the hull. So let's take a look at the build for the hull that I use. For the build, I use main armament in the first slot. In the second slot, I use engine boost to be able to get that engine boost up to 156-second active time. Third slot is going to be aiming systems. Fourth is going to be propulsion to get this brick moving. Fifth slot is going to be concealment, and the final slot is going to be reload to be able to get that reload down to 3 seconds. For the captain build, I'm going to go over it in order of each build that you should take, or you can do either or however you like. So the first skill I take is preventative maintenance. After that is going to be last stand. After that is going to be superintend to get that extra heal and engine boost. After that, I would take AFT, or the main battery AA expert, to be able to increase your gun range to the 14.8 kilometers. This is your 10-point commander skill right there. The Fearless Brawler, since you don't have smoke, is going to be really important as a 14-point commander skill. After that, I personally would take Adrenaline Rush, so that when you do lose health, you can increase your DPM. That'll be your 17-point commander. After that, their 20-point commander is going to be Survivability Expert to get that extra health to 29,850. And then finally, the Consumable Specialist is going to be your 21-point commander for the whole. So let me know what you guys think of the build and any build suggestions that you have. But thank you all for watching today's video. Let me know what you guys think. Do you guys think the hull is worth 60,000 Research Bureau points? I'm really happy to see a ship added to the game that is monetized. So makes me really happy you can actually get this ship for free from grinding the game. So super excited about that. Hope you guys enjoy the hull when it comes out. You should be able to get it this week. Which is currently February. It should be around February 6th or 7th is when you're able to get it. Or February 5th, depending upon the patches. The patch is about to hit, so maybe around February 5th, 6th, or 7th, either of those days. And if you've already seen this video past, then, well, it's already in the game, so hope you enjoy getting it. But thank you all for watching, and I'll talk to you all later.